G'day folks, Andy here from McDowall Manor. Just out in the backyard, in the big girl's yard, having a bit of a sniff around, see what's happening. The Cape gooseberries are certainly doing well. Now's the time for Cape gooseberries over here. You can see down there, that's a bunch of marigold seeds I just threw in there. And really exciting news, there's actually some flowers on my ruby grapefruit, and you can see heaps and heaps of new growth. The poor old Kefir limes come back, that's pretty good. There's a bean on this little black fence here. You can probably, let's see if we can zoom in on said bean. There he is. So it's actually produced a bean. I don't know, I think it's a broad bean actually. The tomato in behind, he was a volunteer. Whilst I originally had high hopes for it because it's such a big plant, it's pretty well dying back now and hasn't produced a whole lot of tomatoes. Next pot along is the mandarin. And he's actually put on a fair bit of new growth as well. You can probably see it in the top there. And the exciting news is he's got lots and lots of flower buds. We've had one mandarin off this tree. Right beside him is the poor old lime from out the front. That's Tahitian lime. I don't know if you can tell on video, but there's barely a bloody leaf on it. Rosie moved it. I reckon I'm going to lose it, Rosie, but it doesn't matter. Behind that big thing comes out of the end pot. In fact, runs all the way along the garage here. That's a loganberry. Hoping to get a crop of berries on that pretty soon. The lemonade tree is doing extraordinarily well. Lots of new growth and lots of flowers. Beside him is a Lisbon lemon. He's not looking too happy to me. I think he needs a cutback or something. He gets plenty of compost tea, so it's not a lack of nutrient. Probably, if anything, it's a sunlight issue. He doesn't get a lot of light there. The fig, which was looking absolutely bloody terrible. Look at it, poor motley thing. It's actually springing back into life. Looks like spring is well and truly springing, even though technically we've got 2 days to go over here, folks. It's already very warm. The corn crop's gone in. Rosie's roses on the arbour. I can't believe the amount of growth they've put on in such a short period of time. I'm seeing a flower bud on one of them, so that's great. The other, what do we got here? The corn crop's in. Poor old bush beans are straggling along, not doing much of particularly anything. In other exciting news, the feijoa, which is pineapple guava, it's going extremely well. There's lots of new growth on him now. I'm actually going to espalier him, so some of these side branches in here will be taken off. I don't care if he grows back towards the aquaponics. And I want him to grow sideways along there, but I don't want him coming forward. I want to be able to make sure I can continue to plant. The shallots were doing really well. If I had showed you this 2 days ago, you would have been saying, "Oh, Andy, great job, mate." Percy got in there. Bloody Percy. Percy's a female, by the way, so she probably would deserve a rename. But Percy's on a little holiday at the moment. She's making new friends up at the local reserve, and I don't expect to see Percy back with a little bit of luck. These little capsicums, I'm hoping to get something off them. They're pretty small and straggly, so who knows. Now what is exciting is that's a cherry tomato, believe it or not. Holy guacamole. Lots of flowers, lots of growth. In fact, it's making the artichoke at the bottom look positively tiny. My lettuce and spinach patch, Percy got in there too, bloody Percy. But that's now recovering. I'm pleased to report there's a little bit of garlic in there as well. So I am getting some great cabbages, great results on the cabbages. Got a little bit of damage on the hearts, but not very much. We're picking off any grubs we find, and they get given to the girls who love them. As you can see, Cape Gooseberry is going nuts over here. It's starting to crowd everything out, including the kale, the poor bloody kale, which is right at the back here. The tuber bed, it's the only wicking bed I own. The tubers are actually starting to bounce back. You can't really tell, but once I got the wire on and Percy stopped digging, we've had a recipe for success. The aquaponics bed, which is where we are at the moment, inside the aquaponics setup with the shade cloth and stuff on it. Not going to get caught out again this year. Shade cloth's already up. The Chinese water spinach, or kangkong, is finally coming back. You can see the little cherry tomato in here has gone absolutely nuts. I've bunged in a few extra lettuces today. A couple of shallots, I harvested those too. They were quite big and old, so I harvested them. You can see they've grown back pretty nicely. A little bit go around the bloody tomato. A little bit more kangkong. I've been shoving a few bits in over here today. They should easily strike. That thing with the pretty leaf there, that's a red vein sorrel. The basil's still sort of struggling, but up the other end, which you haven't got a hope of seeing through the tomato, it's actually come back kind of nicely. Hang on, I'll zoom in on that little guy over there. There you go, you can see that. So I cut them back. They're recovering pretty well. Quite excited by the bed. It's recovering, folks. Happy to report on rat number 32. It appears that we've cleaned up the worst of the plague, and that's what we use. There's a bait station over there, which is plastic and no water runs in it, which is exactly what I wanted. That you're looking at there is perpetual coriander. Spiky as all get out, but actually really does taste as a beautiful coriander. Constant flow beds are doing all right. Finally caking back off again. Continuing theme. You can see a ton of tomatoes, a ton of perpetual coriander over in the back there. There's chives and stuff in here as well. A lot more perpetual coriander. So I'm confident we're entering back into the spring growth and things are looking really good. Dog's yard here. You can hear Bobby going off. The theme in this side is flowers, flowers, lots of flowers, quite frankly. I will show you a few things. A nasturtium appeared from nowhere. God only knows where that comes from. You can see there's also a passion fruit there. That's another theme up this side of the yard, let me tell you. The smaller of the banana pups, he rotted off. The other one you can see is doing quite well. We've had some rain recently. A couple of marigolds in there. The big old rosemary, the good news about that is, if you wander up here past this hacked up lemongrass, that's a new little lavender there. So Rossie's done a bit of succession planting, which is wonderful. Chilies aren't going extremely well. Don't know what's going on there. Might have to put a few more in. What is doing well is the bloody papaya. There's never a shortage of papaya. In fact, if we let them go yellow like they are, I don't know if you can see, but the flying foxes or the possums have had a go at that one at the bottom. That's what happens. So we pick them just as they start to ripen, usually, and they ripen inside, no problem. I was very excited to see the turmeric's coming back. That's that funny leaf just there. Always worry when you dig it out and you think, geez, I hope it comes back. Well, good news is it looks like it's going to. You can see lots of passion fruit. I've done some running repairs on those vertical beds that I built. Not that you can tell because it's still covered in bloody passion fruit, but there's the odd flower coming out of there. The little lots of lemon has been a star. He's producing literally lots of lemons, which is great. Passion fruit, there's more passion fruit. The basil went crazy. That one there's what we call a bush basil. I've let it go to flower, it can seed. And I'll just go and deal with that damn dog. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I've still got lots of kumquats. Well, not lots, but a few kumquats on the kumquat tree. Desperately trying to use them for all manner of schemes. Continuing flower theme is bougainvillea out the front. You can see there's a couple of azaleas in flower there, quite pretty. More bougainvillea underneath, doing quite well. Bromeliad contributing to the blooms. It's a gorgeous hibiscus, straggly old bush, but nice hibiscus. Beside it is a lily pilly, which produces an edible berry. I think you can probably see the hanging passion fruit. We're loving them at the moment, that's great. Back to the cranberry hibiscus. I'm going to cut him back now. It's getting leggy, so it's more than time to give him a chop back. I get a lot more fun out of that than I ever thought I would, to be honest. Once I discovered the rose, been using the rose hips, except they're not rose hips, Andy. They're cranberry hibiscus hips, which is the old spent flowers. Make quite a nice drink out of them. So beside the mad basil, there's a little Thai basil there. It seems to be going all right. Final thing I'll leave you with is my little mulberry. Yes, it has sprung back, thank goodness. And yes, it is, for a stick, it's covered in fruit. So I'm very, very happy with that. What a score. Oh, well, there is one more thing I better show you, because I was really glad of this too. Remember the pomegranate? Died right off. Was just a stick. Then Percy snapped the stick. I never had the heart to pull it out, but let's see if we can focus. I've got to find the right stick. I can see it. Can you see it there in the middle? And guess what, folks? It's coming back. It's got leaves. How good is that? The poor little thing. It's got to be about 3 centimetres tall, the whole damn tree now. So it's suffered enormous Percy damage. But it's alive. So give that a couple of years and I actually think we'll have a decent functioning pomegranate. That's very exciting. Alright folks, well that's it's really more of a post-winter, I suppose, clip, isn't it? Rather than a spring clip, because we're not even in bloody spring yet. Not that you'd know it, because the garden's going great guns. Crikey, look at the size of that damn tomato bush. Whew. Anyway, hope you have a good one, folks. Ciao.